call the January 14th meeting of the Blighted Property Review Committee to order at 9 a.m. Roll call, Mr. Yerkowitz.
Here.
Mr. Welsh. Mr. Spiker.
Here.
Mr. Taylor. DeFucci.
Here.
How do you say it?
DeFuccia.
DeFuccia. Flores. Mrs. King. Mr. Eulig.
Yep.
Mr. Snippert here. Mr. Binney. Mr. Stapp. Mr. Sowers. Captain Fries.
Here.
And Mrs. Ertle's not here. All right. All right, so first on the agenda, being that this is our annual meeting, our reorganization meeting, we need to appoint officers for the 2026 year, being chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary treasurer. The slate prior to in 2025 was chairperson was Mr. Zimmerman, vice chair was Mr. Welsh, and secretary was Mr. Snippert. Is there any nominations from the floor for chairperson? I'll nominate Mr. Yerkowitz for chair. I have a second.
I'll second.
You accept that nomination?
Yes.
All right. Any other nominations? All right. Open for nominations for vice chairperson.
Jake Welsh.
Jake Welsh. All right. Second that nomination?
I'll second.
Jake, do you accept that nomination? No. No? Okay. Any other nominations? Mr. Spiker?
None for me.
I nominate Mr. Spiker as vice chair. Second. You accept that nomination?
Yes, I will.
All right. All right. Nominations for secretary, treasurer?
Mr. Snippert.
Any second? I'll accept that. All right. Voting on the slate of officers, Mr. Yerkowitz as chairperson, Mr. Spiker as vice chair, and Mr. Snippert as secretary treasurer. Motion to approve?
Approve.
I'll second.
All right. Second. All right. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
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 All right. Motion passes. All right. Steve, did you want to run the meeting?
Go ahead, Aaron.
Go ahead. All right.
Yes,
I'll run this
please.
one. You can take February.
I will.
All right. Approval of the minutes from the November 12th, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move. I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Spiker, second by Mr. Eulig. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Public comment? No public to speak. All right. Secretary's report. Okay, so I included some stuff in the agenda that went out and in the packets that everyone received today. So right now we have 271 blighted properties on the blighted property list. The Erie Land Bank optioned 17 properties off the judicial tax sale, which is in process right now today. Of that, 8 of those properties were blighted, and it's easy to say a few of the other properties probably would have been making their way to the blighted property list. So those ones will be coming off. I did include a few things in the agenda and a couple things I just kind of want to walk over, given that it's January, new year, and that just really for the board, as far as the role and what you are voting on and what you are approving, and also for the public as an awareness to what a blight designation means on a property. So there's a memorandum, and I'll leave that for you to read, but the biggest thing, the role of the committee is essentially in the packet, and you should see there's a list of blighted property shall, and there's about, there's really nine items, number 9 having 3 subcategories to it. As Blighted Property Review Committee members, you're accepting the evidence being presented by Officer Binney related to a blighted property that in code enforcement's or the redevelopment authority or anyone who wants to present a property in front of the BPRC, that it meets at least one of those characteristics to be designated as blighted, okay? So you're not voting on anything other than the property and the evidence that is presented meets one or more of those categories to be determined as blighted by the Blighted Property Review Committee under the Urban Redevelopment Law, which allows City Council to enact the Blighted Property Review Committee. Okay, any questions with that part of it? The other part of it being, and it's a little bit sometimes the misconception around the property owners and what that blight designation means for them and what they have to do to rescind that blight from the property. So a property that has been blighted receives what's called an Exhibit A, and that's put together by the code by Officer Benny and is sent to the property owner with their notice of blight. That identifies the issues at the property that can be told and have been identified. Now, keep in mind that the majority of the time, the officers have never been inside the property because there's no legal right to enter the property prior to the blight designation unless the property was open and they had to enter the property for the means of making sure that it wasn't occupied prior to being secured. So those items are listed, but in order for a blighted property owner to remove the blight from the property now must be brought up to code. It must be maintained, must be brought up to a habitable condition with all applicable permits being pulled and closed out. So it's not a matter of just cleaning up the outside, painting it, making sure it's secured. They're now obligated to renovate that property through the guidance and support of the code enforcement officer and the code enforcement office, permitting, all of that situation to go forward. And it's only at that point, following the inspections of code enforcement, that the property is brought to the Blighted Property Review Committee for a blight rescission.
Do you want me to add anything, Aaron?
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Yes, so he's going to talk about the statement of intent and how this rehab process goes. I made a change to the Exhibit A, and I put it in there clearly with every notice of blight that it must pass an interior and exterior property maintenance inspection. Now, when we say bring this property to code, we're not saying that they have to bring it to the current building code. Many of you may understand that there's the IRC, which is the residential building code, there's the commercial code. We need them to bring it to the property maintenance code. And in order to do that, there has to be inspections done, but in many cases, a lot of the repairs that are needed require additional permits to be pulled, and then those portions of the work have to be brought to today's code. But the entire structure doesn't have to meet today's code, like, for example, energy code. That's one thing that a lot of these older homes, they'll never be able to meet. That's not something that we're requiring. We're requiring that they meet the property maintenance code.
So, yeah, and so any questions with that part of it? And I think that's more for information for the board and also for the public as we move forward, because that's a lot of things. And so the one misconception is that, you know, we get, after we, you know, the board, the committee blights a property, we receive calls of, well, what do I need to do? And we always reference them to the Exhibit A, but they want punch lists. They want itemized scopes of work of what they need to do. And that is not the role of the BPRC, and it's not the role of code enforcement or permitting or building inspections, any of that to be done.
One of the things that I've been doing to help with that process is I've been offering a pre-rescind inspection. Well, you know, you've got a blighted property, let's take a walk through it. I will help explain to you what I'm looking at and what needs to be done, what permits need to be acquired. I try to encourage people to do that before they begin work, mainly because a lot of people will begin work and then they'll find out, well, I needed X, Y, and Z permits and I didn't get them, so now we're into double fees. And does work have to be removed and redone? So I really encourage people to contact and at least try to get a walkthrough so that we can kind of have an idea of what they're going to do. And that's where I think the statement of intent and the process will help facilitate that, because we can begin before they issue a statement of intent. Let's go to the property and take a look at what needs done. Then you complete your statement of intent, because now the person completely understands what they need to do.
Exactly. Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
So with that, I'll move on to the statement of intent to renovate and a change for 2026. So statement of intent to renovate is a document that the redevelopment authority has used for some time as related to blighted properties. And it's something that, like we said, when a blighted property owner reaches out, we provide them the statement of intent. We're trying to really do a couple things. We're trying to gauge their understanding of the condition of the property, but also open that line of communication and acknowledgement of the conditions and what they need to do to remediate those. So with that, we've utilized that, but through talking with other and networking with other colleagues across the state, and I provided a presentation to the Homes Within Reach conference in December, and through that and working with them, there's a couple other municipalities that put the statement of intent in front of the BPRC. Really, it's just another way to get that property owner to come in, present to the board, talk to the board, give the board an opportunity or the committee an opportunity to review that statement of intent, ask any questions, and ultimately weigh on the approval or non-approval of that statement of intent. So as we go forward in 2026, we're going to bring those statements of intent to the committee and have the property owner come in front of the committee and present really on their intent for the property. And then the committee will vote upon that. Okay, and so through this, we're going to get that information. We're going to make sure that they invite the Code Enforcement Office and the Redevelopment Authority out to the property to walk through it so that we have an ability to get inside the property, see the real condition, and work together on that. And once that's prepared, they will be sent out just like the property information to the committee in preparation for the committee meetings each month. So there are some other things that we're working on. I got to work with the city solicitor on a couple other things related to that, and we'll talk about that once I work through the legality of some other enforcement mechanisms around that statement of intent. But really, ultimately, we use that as a way to open that line of communication, like I said, and work with them. But also, if they give us a statement of intent and then walk away from the property and fail to communicate again, it's also another document when we end up, if we file condemnation against the property, goes in the file, goes to court if they contest our taking, and we can show that they did acknowledge it. They said they were going to fix it, and they didn't. So it's just another document that we use in the line of enforcement to continue to try to get and gain that compliance at the property. So, good. Any questions with that? No. All right. All right, back to the agenda. So that's my report. Old business is rescissions of blight.
So we have a good, healthy list here. The first 5 properties we're going to go through are all rehabs. I'm going to give Aaron a moment to get some photographs up there before I get started. The first property we have is 515 Myrtle Street. Okay, this property was rehabbed. They pulled electrical permits, plumbing permits, building permits. All those permits passed final inspection, and I did my final rescission earlier this year in April. There was a couple things that needed to get straightened out, but they were taken care of actually as recently as last week. Some of the things were handled.
You want to do them all and then just do a full slate? Yep. Okay.
Up next, we have 317 West 4th. This is another property that was completely rehabbed. I would like to try to get some before and after pictures. That's one of the goals I have for this year, is to try to start to get before pictures. Just one shot of the house so that you guys can see what it looked like before and what it looks like now. I just didn't have time to do that for this meeting. This is...
There's no pictures in the file.
For 317?
Yeah. Hold on, let me go to the Dropbox. Maybe it just didn't copy over this morning.
While you're looking for that, so that first house, somebody's living there.
Correct,
So
it's a
they-
rental property.
They can do that prior to the blight rescinded?
There was not been any law that I've been able to enforce that prevents that.
Okay.
Nothing that's been given to me, and I've not been told that I can prevent that.
Okay.
So,
Just curious.
Yep. As long as it is habitable, so it meets the requirements to be a habitable space, as far as it's got heat, electric, water, smoke alarms, and that kind of stuff. I don't have any control to prevent that from happening. At least I have not been told that I have the ability to prevent that from happening.
That's fine. If somebody can live there, that's,
Yeah. No luck with,
No, no pictures.
okay.
Something happened there.
Yeah, they were in that drive, that shared drive we have.
I can, if you want to bear with me a minute, I'll remote in. I'm
You
not
can't,
gonna
you
have 'em.
can't,
I
because
can't,
you
because I'm
can't
already,
zoom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have them on your phone?
I have exterior pictures. This is 317 West 4th Street.
Seem to know.
This is the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, like,
Show-
I don't
show
know,
them.
darker gray kind of look to, it's a white, yeah, it pops, I like that, looks good. Hey, if that's what they're doing, great,
Oh, yeah, no, I remember that property.
I like it.
I don't have the interior on my phone because my phone only holds so many pictures and I take a lot of pictures. But that was 317 West 4th.
I think I got them now, Jake.
You got them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just had to go the roundabout way.
They also got building permits, plumbing permits, and electrical permits. And all those permits were finalized out and passed. I did my rescind inspection in April on this one as well. The first 3 properties were owned by the same person. They had a couple issues on one of the properties. They had to get some things sorted out. They got those things resolved. I didn't bring them to present until they were all done. You find those interior pictures from 317?
I was also
Yeah.
with Jake on those inspections too, and I verified what was done.
That's 317 West, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And up next, we have 429, or 420 West 9th Street. Obviously, all those previous ones, their taxes are current, all utilities are on. But the taxes are current here, utilities are active. They had to pull electrical permit and a plumbing permit. For this property, they actually preserved some of the old wallpaper and most of the floors in this house. It was pretty neat to see. It was like the felt wallpaper. I believe I have a shot of it in the, you can see it's in that back room there off to the right. Yeah.
That looks really good.
I did my recent inspection on this one, December 18th.
That's 454 West 10th.
Nope, this one is 420 West
Okay,
9th.
sorry, I missed.
And then we have 464 West 10th. This is a occupied single-family home. This property was purchased and a flipper bought the house and was doing some work. Found out it was blighted, contacted me, I went in, straightened out what permits they needed. We worked with them and then they sold it. But the owner was having some first-time home buyer issues, the door squeaks or this squeaks, so she was hesitant on having me rescind the blight, but then after some time passed and many conversations with her, I said, it's time to rescind the blight on this property. It passes property maintenance code. It's got all of its inspections, and she agreed. And I did my final rescind there July 10th of 2025. That's all I have for the rehabs. The last couple here we have are some vacant lots that were demos. Oh, yeah, no, it's right here. Sorry, my sheets got interchanged. 320 Plum, once Aaron gets the photos up there.
Bear with me for a second. There we go.
Okay. This one's 320 Plum. Taxes are current, utilities are on. This is a 2-unit rental. They had to pull furnace permits, plumbing permits, and electrical permits. I did my rescind inspection. This one was a developer agreement with the land bank or Race.
Land bank, yep.
And we worked together through the rescind process, but we had to go back and do a final inspection yesterday just to make sure that the small things were corrected and that they were. But 320 Plum has been vacant since I started here at the city. For many years, there was a blanket that hung out the window on the second floor, and
I remember that.
it sat. I tried to get the previous owner to sell it, to do something with it. For some reason, the owner wouldn't do anything with it, and once we got this blight process flattened out, we got it all figured out, and that's one of the results. It was a house saved.
Good.
Now that's all I have for the rehabs. Now we have a couple demos. This first demo is 1319 Parade Street. If any of you drive up and down Parade, you may not have noticed, but this building came down in the spring, and there's a brand new building there. Hans has been doing a phenomenal job over there. I was called out in the spring to do the sewer cap, and it slipped my mind to have it presented for rescind because the demo permit was included in the new build permit. So when I went to close out the demo permit, I didn't have a notification to me that I needed to rescind it because typically these vacant lots, they stay vacant lots. So I was contacted to come out and take a look at the new build under new construction, and we've got it. We'd like to get it rescinded. They're doing all their inspections and everything for the new construction. I believe Perry. Yeah,
Yeah,
Perry's
Perry's the
doing that
contractor.
one. I was amazed because honestly, the way they built that, it looks like the building never left. It just looks like it was fixed, but it's a brand new building.
Yeah, it was a blighted property acquired by the land bank and then sold under a developer agreement to Hans.
Okay.
They ultimately acquired the vacant parcel next door, which was owned by the same owner, and upon their work decided that the structure was too far gone to rehabilitate, so they demolished it and then turned it. They're still providing 4 units of rental to complete their project there on Parade Street, and then providing parking in the rear of it with the new orientation. So it's definitely filling in that missing tooth on that 1300 block of Parade Street, completing the block and ultimately, improving that neighborhood, so.
Thank you, Aaron. I don't have the backstory to all of these because a lot of these were on the blight list prior to me taking the position, so I appreciate that, Aaron. These other 2 were land bank demos. This one is 2631 Van Buren. The demolition was done in accordance with the city ordinance, and I finalized that inspection on November 12th of 2025. And then the next one is 832 East 22nd Street. That was also a land bank demolition, and I finalized that demolition on September 23rd.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to rescind the blight on the properties presented. Motion, Janelle. Second, Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right, on the new business. Jake?
Okay, up first, as long as my sheets are all in order here, up first we have 1352 West 32nd Street. Aaron will pull up some photos. This property was actually fire damaged in October of 2024. So not this past October, but the previous October, there was a bad fire there. And at the time of the fire, I was told that the owner was actually living in their car. So the interior conditions were obviously uninhabitable, and the owner was living in the car. It's vacant now. They're current on their taxes, but all of their utilities are shut off because of the fire. We've sent notifications, posted notifications. I have dates here of October of 2024, May of 25, July of 25, August of 25. I've had very few conversations with the owner. This owner doesn't have a phone. Currently does not have a mailing address that just known to me. The owner originally said that they were going to try to sell the property because the insurance money went straight to the mortgage company and paid off the mortgage, and they were only left with a small portion of the insurance check, so they were not able to rebuild with that money. I do believe at the time of the fire, the owner was also not aware if they had insurance or not. So there was some other things going on with that property. Like I said, I haven't made contact with this owner in the last 3 months, and this property's been sitting there for well over a year in that condition. I've had to go out and secure it a couple of times myself. It's definitely time we get it on the blight list and try to get something to happen with this.
I'll entertain a motion to blight 1352 West 32nd Street.
I'll move.
Moved by Dave. Second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. 426 East 14th Street.
Now, this property is also a fire damaged property. This fire, I don't have the exact date, but it was late 2024. And I'll give Aaron a second to pull up some pictures. The property is vacant. They're behind on taxes for 24 and 25. One of the things I found interesting while doing the paperwork for this presentation was that there's been no water at this property since 2016. They owe $354.62. So that to me says that it has not been occupied since 2016. The owner, after receiving multiple notices, has reached out to us, but the owner's physical health was not in good condition. She had explained to me that she was trying her best, but she didn't know what she would be able to do. And I have not received any correspondence from her at all this fall. Most of my conversation was early spring, beginning of summer, and I know she was going through a lot of health issues. We got case history dating back to 2003. So we've had cases on and off over the years with code violations with this property, but there was repair demo orders issued after the fire, and that was when I had most of my conversation with her. I did forget to mention the amount for the taxes was just shy of $3,000 that they're behind in taxes. This is another one of those fires. I think I mentioned to some of the committee members that I was going to try to bring some fires that happened last year to the board because nothing's taken place with them. There's either no insurance or the insurance money is gone, and we're kind of stuck sitting on these, just keeping them secure, and it's time we put a blight designation and try to get these taken care of.
I'll entertain a motion to blight 426 East 14th Street. So moved, Aaron.
Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. 1058 West 10th Street.
Okay, 1058 West 10th Street is in the same owner's name since 1976. The property is vacant. There is little to no usage on the electric, but the water has been shut off since May of 2016, and they have a balance of $458.75. They're current on their taxes, but I was looking and I found that I could not find the owner's obituary, but I did find the owner's daughter's obituary, who was a resident at that home as well, and the owner's daughter has been deceased since 2015. So this property's been vacant for over 10 years. I did find the owner's name listed in the PA legal ads for unclaimed property, matching the zip code to where this property is. So I'm assuming that that name was put in the unclaimed property because of this property. I was looking at aerial photos because one of the complaints that came in was that there was a hole in the roof, and I was unable to see it from the street or any of the surrounding blocks. But I did look at some aerial footage or photos from our Connect Explorer, and in 2023 I could see that the flat roof portion, there's a small flat roof on the top of that, it looked like it was starting to open up. So the interior conditions are unknown, but I can't imagine that they're very good.
I'll entertain a motion to blight 1058 West 10th Street. Motion from Chanel. Second?
Second?
Second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. 4313 Caroline Drive.
Okay, this property is, the exterior and the structure itself are it's in pretty fair condition, but the property has been vacant for over 2 years. The owner passed away in April of 2023. They're behind on taxes for 24 and 25 for $9,391. I was unable to verify the National Fuel, but the water service there is active, but I reached out to the Erie Waterworks and specified asked them what the usage was, and the usage is showing little to none for the last 2 years. They owe $305 to Erie Waterworks. We've got cases dating back to 2023 with this property. Notice of violations were sent in February of 23, January of 24, January of 25, and April of 25 as well. Citations were filed with no response to the citations. Now, the owner, okay, my apologies. The owner is actually the previous owner's daughter, and she took ownership, the daughter took ownership in February of 24, but there's been no change since the daughter took ownership. There's a car sitting out front. The weeds are always high. There's garbage kind of strewn across the front of the property. The property maintenance inspector has filed citations and has tried to do everything they can, but because it's just sitting vacant and nobody's doing anything with the property, she asked that I present it for a blight declaration.
And this came from neighbor complaints, or?
Neighbor complaints originally, yes, all the neighbors were complaining about the property, and then I get the properties for the meeting from the inspectors. So the inspectors are the ones that get the complaints, but yes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to blight 4313 Caroline Drive.
I'll move.
Moved by Dave, second by Janelle. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. 3317 Tuttle Street.
Okay, 3317 Tuttle. We've got case history over the last year, consistent case history. The property is vacant. They're overdue on taxes for 23, 24, and 25 for $6,201. The owner has owned this property since 2006. There are no active utilities at the property. The water was recently shut off in May of 25. They owe over $1,300 in water bill. So like I said, we've had cases for over a year, 3 cases to be exact, and 10 notice of violations have been sent. 4 quality of life tickets have been issued in the fall of 2024. There was a citation filed in the fall of 2024 for the exterior violations, and then there was another citation issued in January of 2025 for non-payment of quality of life tickets. We had to file a lien this summer to have the exterior of the property cleaned up because it was so overgrown and there was trash everywhere. The property is on the seated tax sale list for this tax sale. And after reviewing all the case history, I found that the owner had passed away in 2025. There was conversations between the owner's brother and the code officer for the area. The owner's brother initially was going to try to get things squared away to do something with the house, but when the owner's brother found out how much they were behind in taxes and utilities, the owner's brother informed the code officer that he was not going to do anything with the property. So it's going to the seated tax sale. If it doesn't get picked up there, it'll be on the judicial tax sale next year. But for now, we need to get a blight declaration on it.
Motion to blight. Motion by Janelle. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. That is all. Next, a statement of intent to renovate. We do not have any this month, but we are working on a few with some property owners. So there should be 1 or 2 next month for the board to review and consider. And so those will be, look forward to that. Correspondence, any correspondence for the board? All right. I'm probably going to add board dialogue for the board to address or bring up any questions, related to blighted properties, but just, so that'll be an agenda change for next month. So being no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Moved by Dave, second. Janelle, all in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned at 9:39. Thank you.